Well, welcome back, everyone, to Team Berserk Talk. We're on episode number 11 here, and this one is a little smaller here, a nice, intimate Berserk Team Talk, if you will. And this is, we don't know what we're talking about here. This is just for Pac-Man. He missed that we didn't have an episode yesterday, or sorry, today that came out. Lightning storms, power outages, whatever excuse bullshit we came up with. But here we are. Armando, take it away. I have like five brain cells working left.
In my defense, my power was actually out yesterday, and it in fact cut out in the final round of the webcam locals, where I had to concede, sadly, because I couldn't play without internet. Really, really sad for me. But Carl was my opponent, so if I'm going to give a W to anybody in the world, I'm happy it's Carl. But yeah, special shout out to Pac-Man getting on us to record. I'm obviously in my robe because I was super ready for bed, but we're going to try and make a good show for you guys. Our discussion topics are going to be Super Saiyan 4 Bardock, because Nick and Lucas wouldn't shut up about Super Saiyan 4 Bardock prior to us starting the show. So we're going to go Super Saiyan 4 Bardock. Talk about some budget competitive decks, and then hand in hand with that, mindset for best of one regional and how to stay engaged with the Dragon Ball Super community. So hope you enjoy those topics. If you didn't, just stay for Bardock, because I'm sure it'll be a good lively discussion. Nick, why don't you start us off? What are your thoughts on Bardock?
I thought it was absolutely terrible the first time I read it, and then the more I've played against it, like I'm really, like, I'll say this much. I'm really bad at just reading an archetype and being like, oh, this is going to be amazing or this is going to be bad. I just think everything's bad until I actually play it for the most part, because my mind's not creative enough to actually figure that stuff out.
It's because anything that loses the cell surge, you're like, this sucks. And that's everything.
Oh, that'll never die. I can start saying that to you soon. Yeah, so as I've started seeing people play it, at first I kind of thought like, oh, like, to get the best value out of the deck, you don't really want to awaken until you're pretty much at either 3 or 4 energy, which seems a little bit late to be awakening in this type of meta. But obviously, as of like a few weeks ago, it slowed down, so now it seems super viable as I've played against it more and more. I haven't lost to it yet, but it's really, really, really annoying to play against. Like, as either an aggro deck or as like a slower control deck, it does a lot of things that are super annoying. Like, one of the best, like, I guess spoilers on everything here about this is so many people are calling this a broken card that needs to be like banned. I don't think so, but that Bardock leader actually deals with this really well. Like, by just charging and turning leader sideways, which is what every single deck does, you're gonna take off 1 to 2 markers every turn by just doing that.
But Nick, how do I remove a marker just by charging?
Read the cards. It's one of the Gohans, right? It's the green
man,
one.
The man doesn't even have the card on deck.
Right
Good thing
there.
Lucas comes in to save the day.
I got the deck right here, and just so everyone knows, I got the sleeves with it too. I had a, you know what? I'm not gonna get into the R-rated stuff already. It's too early in the thing. Pac-Man, I'm sorry.
When Lucas wants to play a terrible deck, he goes all in on the terrible deck.
Oh, of course.
The man will actually foil it.
I was so tempted to, but they're like $5-6. I'm just like, God. Like, I know, like, they look cool. I think I might have like one of each of them foil, which I'm like, okay, I'll survive. But yeah, it is a beautiful looking deck. That's all I gotta say. That was the interruption there.
No, that's all good. But
the safe I pulled were these trash ones. I was so mad. I'm like, these are terrible. But luckily, there's a couple Sin players at my locals that want them. But
there you go.
You know what's funny though? I pulled that and then the Kid Goku sleeves. But Jeps, who was opening up with me and Jay, was just like, I don't want these SS4 sleeves. I think they look like shit. I'm like, I'll take them. I'm running the deck. So
the Kid Goku sleeves are hype though. The Kid Goku sleeves look cool.
I like them, but I just don't like the 4th anniversary thing. Like, it's cool, but I just don't like the positioning and stuff of it. Like, I like how the 4-star ball looks. If it was just that, I would like it better. But
that is on theme. Like, usually, like, I wouldn't say they I wouldn't say Bandai usually does like a bad job with doing stamps on stuff. Like you look at this Masu card, like the stamp for the champ on it just looks. It's in the
champ-
back. It looks great, but some of the new stamps that they're doing for stuff lately is just like, come on, like we know you guys are badass at doing this.
It's the champ
So
and the winners.
it's disappointing.
The champ and the winners is the one where they have that designer like, okay, you nailed it on the head. We're gonna let you do all this shit. Okay, this looks beautiful. The Gojitas, both of them, the winners look amazing. Well, even the chill.
Now,
They made
what
chill
happened
look
with
good.
all those ones is the designer's kid did it. He's just like, I just got a raise, man. I need to go on vacation. I'm gonna let my kid handle it. I'm just kidding.
Now we're shut down again.
Yeah.
First
Yeah,
Applebee's,
exactly.
now
That's
Bandai.
Yeah. That's Nick just confirming that we're never getting sponsored with anything. So I love it.
I already added them on one of the other videos and said, please don't watch this. So
Reverse psychology
So-
on a company. I love it.
Lucas, what are your thoughts on SS4 Bardock?
Well, I have played it in a tournament now, the Upper Hand Super Series. Go join on the Facebook if you want to enter a free tournament. But I didn't have too much like of different ranges of match. I still haven't played blue against this, so I want to see what the hell blue's gonna do. Because God Sealing, the only kill cards in this deck are
No cards in that deck have
Ye-
deflect.
Yeah. No. One has barrier. That's about as good as it's gonna get. And the one that has barrier, you don't even play. That's the best part about it. You just charge it. But this is your turn 4 play, and if you're against black and you get petrified, you lose. If you're against blue and it gets God Sealed, you lose. This is also your kill, which is turn 5. You get God Sealed, you lose. If it comes down, you usually win. I got this down twice. Funny enough, I know you two were talking about the new Goku Black support, like that blue-yellow Goku Black, which I think is really good. It has deflect and plays 4.
Snap.
4 shadow
so
tokens with blocker. I was playing a mirror match with this, that someone was actually running that in the Rainbow Bardock deck. And I was like, oh.
damn, yeah, that
Right?
Yeah,
that
so
works because it's only one blue and one
specific.
yellow.
One blue and one yellow. The only thing is you don't get a restand because you don't have a multicolor blue-yellow
Exactly.
energy.
That's why I wouldn't run it, because it only untaps blue yellow.
That was the only negative thing there. And the problem was it was his turn 4 going into my turn 5 when he did that. My turn 5 that I dropped this. Sorry, I swung with the leader first, rested a battle card, so I rested one of the blockers. Then I played this, warped 2 of the blockers, rested the other blocker. So all 4 blockers were not a problem, and then I just swung quad strike for game.
Well, Secret Identity also does it in too.
That's true. But only, Secret Identity's not an SS4. You got to run the SS4 overrums here. Courtesy,
Sure.
thank you, Nick. But,
Oh man, the leader can grab fighting against fate too,
Mhm.
can't he? 'Cause
That's the
pretty
only-
snapped actually.
that's the only overwhelm I'm running in the deck because I don't feel like I push a lot of stuff to the drop. Maybe against an ultra aggro matchup, I'll need a combo stuff, but like the stuff I'm comboing is getting played, and it's getting played in rest mode, and then I'm just using the activate main. The best time to use it is on your opponent's turn, because you can only use it when there's 3 or more energy between you and your opponent. So say it's they went first, they're on their turn 2, you just have 1 energy. Tap 1, you have this, and then you can swing with it next turn, use the activate main, play. Usually the crit Vegeta is what I found was the best thing to play, just because it's crit, and you get a bottom deck 1, draw 2, which is... Remember when there was a good card that did that for free, basically, called Switching Gears? I know you guys already forgot about that card in that whole deck. Good. But, it's fun. That's all. That's what I can say. It's fun, and you gotta think. You gotta think really hard, just like, what do I have to have out here? Because you can also have...
I'm out.
Yeah, you can have green and red energy and combo the blue or yellow Goku because they both get played with black energy. So they're the only way where you can have all colors out without having everything in your energy, because the leader's effects specify that it's energy and battle area. So that was a cute little way to cheat out to get like my full effects on the awakened side before having 4 energy. But yeah, I think that's my input on the deck. That I don't know how it's going to do against blue, which my thoughts is going to get smashed because it's got to go to turn 4 or turn 5 anyway, and you're just helping blue by doing that. But then again, I'm not running a heavy overwhelm build or a heavy like aggro. I don't have any Shampas. Everything's pretty much just to have all my targets, and then I have one fighting against fate and one thwarting the Dark Empire just for like a last swing. Do the fighting against fate, and then I'll have my Goku and Vegeta in the warp, and then use an energy fuse them.
So it's interesting. I'm curious about some tech cards because you guys seem to have a little more experience than I do. But to me, I think the best card is, like you said, the Gogeta 8, the 4 energy. He's the black Gogeta 8, and it's you warp or you send a Goku and Vegeta from your drop to your warp, and you play him for 4. That seems like the best card in the deck to me because it kills 2 cards ignoring barrier, which if you play black, black needs barrier removal. And it also negs 2 cards out of your opponent's hand, and then it can't be killed when it's in rest, and then it restands itself. It does a lot of really broken stuff. And I think that's probably what I would say is the best card in the deck. I don't know if you get your leader restand on your turn 4, or sorry, the leader restand in energy. Does that come turn 4 or turn 5?
You can get that like minimum if you want to really push it. You can do a turn 2. And that was just simply, but you have to be very specific. You have to charge a red, a green, and then you combo out the yellow and the blue because it counts battle area too. And you need all 5 colors. On the back, it says 4+, but it's non-black colors that you have. So you just basically need all 5 colors because if there's some way that there's no black in your energy, go home. You're drunk. But like, I don't think there's a way I can get 5 cards out not having a black card out because I don't think, like I said, I'm not running Champa, so there's no... sorry. There is a couple non-black cards. They're called blue cards. Roshi and Sensu Bean.
Yeah. So, again, I think that the 4-cost one's probably the best card in the deck, just because I feel like the 5 energy one's a little too late and a little too much of an investment. Like, to me...
It's win more, basically.
Exactly. If you win with that card, you had no business winning the game in the first place. Like, you know what I mean? It's like your opponent had no business winning the game in the first place. So those were 2 cards I was thinking about. And the 8 drops in SR, it's relatively cheap right now. I'd probably say pick it up because Goku and Vegeta are always going to get support in the future, and almost any deck can play that engine.
The SPR is under $20 now too, I believe. I think it's like
awesome.
$18 US or something.
Yeah, that SPR
it's one of the best looking cards in the game.
Yep,
it's gonna come up 100%. Every single team talk. We're just like, an SPR you need?
Get it.
Gogeta.
Get it and then send it to me. I'll grade it for you.
I think the SS4 Bardock deck is mediocre at best, but it does something new and it does something fun, which is so important in this game. So the fact that it's even remotely playable, like, for example, we'll look at Garlic Jr. That was like the first Overlord Servant heavy deck, and you're like, oh, this is so cool and new and fun. And then you're like, wait, this shit's unplayable. Like,
everything gets rid of boards.
Exactly.
This deck needs a board to operate.
Yeah, I need a board of 5 guys to be playable. Oh, wait, I have an indestructible guy, but he doesn't have deflect. So, let's hope anyway. Yeah, so, that was a huge misfire. So any deck that does something new, and I appreciate because it does something new, gets you engaged with a new mechanic, and I think Super Saiyan 4 Bardock's really cool for that. I like that it's going to continue. It's going to continue to get support indirectly by virtue of searching Super Saiyan 4 cards, which we know they're going to print more of. And as Nick said before we started the show, by virtue of being a Black Saiyan leader, particularly a Black Saiyan leader that can untap energy on the Awakened side. That is so powerful. And if the game continues on the present path where Black Saiyans are just the best black decks, I can see that eventually, if not now, becoming a leader that is definitely worth something picking up, worth getting into. So I hate Bardock personally. I never liked the character, but it's a cool deck, and I definitely am excited to give it a try.
Just letting you know from you saying that there's going to be people outside your house. Like I'm fine with that, but like maybe Pac-Man, honestly, because this is his episode. I don't know his stance on Bardock, but I wouldn't.
It won't be Frieza's army. We know that.
I'd
I
sleep
like
with
that
one eye
this is-
open.
This is his episode dedicated to him. He's had absolutely zero input in any. So we hope he likes it.
Yeah, there you
But
go.
okay, so let's talk about the other tech cards I wanted to discuss. Roshi. What are your thoughts on Roshi? Is it as snapped as people are making it out to be, or is it just like, oh, this is kind of cool? While he's thinking, if you don't know, Roshi Masterly Majesty lets you pick up a multicolor card and put a multicolor card back into your energy. So this lets you you can grab back your green Gohan Floodgate, you can recharge one of the cards that gets an effect, like the red Bardock that negs, the yellow Goku that removes or negates skills, something like that. So you basically, it gives you an activate battle skill for free, and it just costs you the one blue card from hand.
So
Mm-hmm.
this is the one that I usually is being Roshi'd, at least in my opinion. I've only done once using Roshi to get a card back to my hand that I needed, and that was specifically against Jason Shenron, where like, well, I need this yellow Goku so that I can just make his Sin Shenron 4-drop skillless and KO'd and get the hell out of here. But besides that, it's always me comboing this to charge this and then minus something by 10k, which I know, Nick, in our match, that's what I was doing to get rid of your piss babies that you had so many of the true fighting spirits, Gokus and Vegetas. I'm like, this guy's just specifically fucking me. I'm just like, he smelled
Vegeta
blue.
wrecks him too because he untaps.
Untaps, and I was running Sensu Bean too. So I'm just like, oh, awesome. Like,
And they're deflect.
Yep. It's just like, oh, good. The one thing I can deal with here, like having my Bardock counterplay. Nope. Can't. No. Okay. Great. Next one. But I feel like that's the play that I'm usually doing with the Roshis. I'm only running it at 2 right now.
So since you're the only one here that's been like dedicating some time to it, I've just been playing against it. How many Roshi do you run?
Just at 2 right now. I
was gonna say it seems like a 2 of tech card, like heavily going into it at like 4 is wild. But
to me, I think 3 is right. I think 4 is too many, and it might clog your deck up. When like you're like, shit, I'm not gonna combo 20k out to trigger out all million of my effects. But like with 3, you could power remove a Unison, or you could power remove a battle card that's like 10k or less. I think 3 seems correct.
3
Maybe.
3 is, I just found 2. That was why 2 was the number. I honestly thought I was only going to have 1 in the deck, which I realized, I'm like, oh shit, the order I ordered 2 of them because they were like 30 cents. Still at, I think it was like Toy Trove or something. But when I saw it, was just like, yeah, sure, I can minus 10 off this defensively. Like, that's pretty good. When he's swinging at me, like at my lead, I'm like, yeah, sure, well, your 5k is doing great right now when you were swinging 15 double or whatever. But I don't know. I don't think it's as snapped as people were saying. I think thinking about it that way, I did not think about like grabbing my counterplay back, because usually, my counter attack back, because usually the green card that's in my energy is usually the ones that get effects, and the counter attack is one of them that you kind of want in your hand. That's the only counter I'm running at in this deck right now. But another thing with me running 2 there was I'm keeping this at a tight 50 card deck because I don't want to search top 5 with my leader or search top 3 and whiff, because that'll hurt so bad, because this deck does not really draw a lot. It's searching top 5 or doing my SS4's call, searching top 3. It's not drawing a card until I'm on my back, and I need my 5 colors to do that. And I want to arrange my deck, arrange my hand so that I have one of each color, so that I can eventually get to just drawing, minusing a Unison, which came in really good against the King Cold match. Anything that's Unison heavy, and that was one thing with the Boo Unison you were talking about. I'm like, yeah, you charge the green one. Say they just played the Boo Unison, you go into your turn 4 or 5, you charge the green one. It's going to have 3 or more markers, so it's going to go down by 1. It's at a 3 marker Unison now. You swing with your leader at it. It can't use its auto unless it's a battle card swing. Your leader's going to be 20k, so that's a guaranteed damage unless they negate. If they do, you're burning a negate. So that's 1 marker for the charge, 1 marker for damage, and 1 marker for the leader's auto. He's down to 1 marker now. That's ridiculous.
The big thing is you just turned off God's Ceiling with 1 swing, right?
That's ridiculous. Which would murder this deck. God-sealing murders this deck because the only kill that you can do is with the 8-drop or the 10-drop. And you did that all for not paying a single energy. You played an energy. Yeah, like you played a card in your energy area, swung with your leader, got all your effects, rested a card, restand at the end of the turn, and got all that. And there you go. You just took off one of the biggest threats to this deck's win con.
The one thing I do truly love about, and sorry to bring us back to Masterly Majesty, but when Android 21 was like a deck I thought was going to be a really good deck, I bought like 20 copies of Roshi Masterly Majesty because I was like, oh man, this card's so snapped in this deck. You can recycle your Android 18 super combos, like you can recycle your revive cards. I was like, Android 21 is going to be the most broken deck in the game because you can play like an additional 4 super combos. And then Android 21 was never a good deck. That was very sad.
I'd like to talk to Armando from then.
Yeah,
exactly. See his input on this whole game.
I think that was the first deck I brought to locals, and I went against, I can't remember if it was Yellow Baby or Red Baby, but yeah, I just got smashed. And I was like, I'm not playing this shit again.
Fuck, this deck sucks.
Not realizing that it was me.
Yeah, I just spent $20 each on friggin' Android 16s, and this deck's terrible. But anyway, yeah, I love Roshi's Masterly Majesty as a card, and what I like is this gives me hope. Like between this and between the Gogeta Zeno leader warping the Unrelenting Assault Trunks and drawing a card off of it, like it gives me so much hope for these old ass card interactions that you might not have considered or might not have played before, that there's now new life being breathed into them. And like if you're a collector, if you have whatever, it adds some value to your old cards. Like Lucas, like you said, you bought those cards for 30 cents. I'm now seeing playsets get sold for $10 or more, which for like a 30-cent rare jump from 30 cents to $2. You know what I mean? That's like a 400% increase in value.
It's the card stocks. Those diamond hands.
Exactly.
But funny that you mentioned that old cards, because I have cards from set 1. I started playing like set 3, but first set I bought was set 2 just because Zamasu, of course, #1 deck in the meta still currently. But the thing was, when set 10 came out and Jay was started his whole Sin Shenron insanity. Too bad he's not here so I can openly mock him to his face.
No. But now you can do it. It's more fun to backstab someone when they're not there.
That's true. There's a good clip of me on stream yesterday just saying how much I love that deck while I was playing against him. But it was the 9-drop and the Haze were the only 2 cards in the deck. So, you know, all 2 Shadow Dragons that nobody cared about. But everyone likes Sin, whatever. But the big guy is Blocker Revenge. And set 10, sure. Still pretty tough to get over because he's negating.
Even let's talk about the Draw 1 Ape. That card was criminally undervalued for a long time. The Bardock Draw 1 Ape Championship pack. That ape was going for like $2 or $3 for a while, and now I think it's up to 20 US because Cell Surge decks are running it. It's just a good, like, spending 1 energy to draw a card is a lot of times better than spending 2 energy to draw 2 cards, because like you get to keep an extra energy up for defense or offense. Yeah, so I personally love when we see older cards get a resurgence. So I agree with you there.
You know what the best part about that was? Is that I'm gonna have to cut out that part because I was muted on OBS. That's the best part. That's the best part about that. Everyone else, I heard your part, but specifically that part of me talking about Zarbon and the interaction between that. So quick brief, that part that was cut there. So for you guys, it'll be normal. Zarbon set 1. He's fucking late, guys. Okay, like I don't know what you want from me. We have to have at least one fuck up per episode.
Mute yourself?
I mute myself because my mic picks up everything. If I take a sip of water, if I just breathe slightly through my nose, so I have to, when I'm done talking, I always click mute.
He went on. Okay, for people who miss it, He
That
went
was
on
such a good speech.
yeah, it was like a beautiful 5-minute rant. Like, sorry, Pac-Man. But
There. Yeah, I apologize specifically to Pac-Man, which his episode will be up on Friday for anybody that wants to watch that. But yeah, continue with my fuck-ups.
yeah, no, you were great, man. Yeah, Zarbon was a good set one card, and Lucas was ahead of the curve, and he was proud of it. I'm proud of him too.
Yeah.
Yeah. He broke 9-drop Sin in set 10, and he's like, "We got him, boys."
Yeah, see, that was a good
That's what he said.
synopsis. Exactly.
Mhm.
It's just I did it
Okay.
way longer, and it was way more wrapped around, and there was a couple of tears. There was a standing ovation, and yeah, I'm fucking lost. Where are we?
Yeah, it was honestly good. I'm sad the viewers can't hear it, but moving forward into like the other topics we had for today. So SS4 Bardock deck, everyone's gonna love, everyone's gonna want to play. You can let us know your thoughts on it. Clearly, my opinion of SS4 decks in the past has been capricious at best, I would say, or contentious at best. I'm gonna go on record and say this SS4 deck also sucks. So that's gonna be my formal position going forward. Just every SS4 deck sucks. But
And then more people outside of his house.
exactly. I love the transformation personally, but anyway, one thing we wanted to talk about today was a couple budget competitive decks. These kind of all flow together. Staying engaged with Dragon Ball Super during the pandemic. Some budget decks that are decently competitive, and a mindset for a best of one regional. So I know for me personally, and I'm sure a lot of any of our Canadian viewers, it's difficult to stay engaged with Dragon Ball Super during the pandemic. You're not going to your locals, you're not going to your buddies' houses and playing cards. It's increasingly difficult for me, I know. And
You're playing, and then your wife comes down and interrupts the whole thing. It's terrible.
that was the best contribution your streams made
there
in
we
20
go.
minutes. But
Pretty much.
my favorite was when you were like trying to like cover her with your head, and it's like, Nick, you're just making it worse, man. Just let her walk.
I just like how you didn't crack. Like I would have cracked
Yeah.
mid sentence there. I just would have been just Nick just going. Just the lean.
Yeah, so one thing I'll highly recommend, even though I personally don't like them because a lot of opinions and a lot of people are toxic, the Facebook groups are a good source of content that you can like enjoy daily, Dragon Ball Super related. Particularly, you should follow the main Dragon Ball Super card game page. A lot of people say, how come I don't know about tournaments? How come I don't see these reveals? Probably because you're not following the Dragon Ball Super card game page. So if you're into the game, you want to stay up to date on what the game's doing, you should follow that page on Facebook. There's a community discussion group. It's hit and miss. There's Hyperbolic Time Chamber. It's hit and miss. There's
just go to the
Hell
Hermit
group.
style Discord. There you go.
Yep.
That's about it.
The actual best place is the Hermit style Discord.
Don't tell new people to go to the Hell group. That's just cruel.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I said don't go there, to be fair.
Okay,
I
good.
said don't go there. No, it's bad. You won't enjoy it. But yeah, Hermit style Discord's awesome. That's personally what kept me in the game. We have a Canada group Discord. We have a DBSL Discord. A couple stores run their own Discords as well for online tournaments. That's another thing I wanted to touch on, online tournaments. I don't know if you guys want to talk about some stores that do online tournaments that you're participating in.
Yeah, there's tons. I think a lot of the smart ones have realized, like, still that when obviously laws allow it, to still run their locals live, because obviously people want to run them, and so does the store. But a lot of them have still kept at least once a week for an online one, because like obviously there's good odds that for at least a brief period of time things will be shut down and you can't play there. So why not have a constant thing that allows your store to have people from all across either the country or the world to be able to participate, pending what they're willing to ship to.
And after the set completes, sealed tournament packs are terrible. Like they're basically worthless after you get to the next set. All the old tournament pack cards are worthless, so you don't want to sit on a bunch of those when you could move them for $5 doing local tournaments or whatever.
Yeah, especially when they're not free; you have to pay for them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I know I try and play in online like local webcam tournaments twice a week. I know you guys are also trying to do twice a week. So that's a really strong way to stay engaged. You can always comment on our YouTubes or like I said, go to Facebook, go to Discord, ask where they're playing tournaments weekly, and you can usually find some place to play. Even if it's just by webcam, which isn't the best, but at least you're still playing the game, still staying engaged.
It beats not playing.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
Another big thing is I used to be a big YouTube watcher of Dragon Ball Super games. I'm finding there's less and less content of games on YouTube, but I have recently started watching Twitches. And if you want to join a Twitch community, discuss the games, watch the games, there's usually a live chat. I'm sure Lucas can tell you a little bit about his Twitch.
It's a shit show. Come watch me get my ass kicked. No, but on to the whole thing with online tournaments and stuff. That's
Are you
open.
muted?
No. I'm.
Okay.
I looked. We're good. You scared me
I was
for
like,
a
this
second.
man gets to talk about his channel, so let's
yeah,
make sure
that's
he is.
sure. Thank you very much for that. For
He's like,
looking out.
dick.
Now I lost my train of thought, honestly, but yeah. It was the space bar. I hit the fucking space bar. That's what muted it. That's what muted it. Did you see this? You want to watch this on Twitch? This is what you can watch on Twitch. You can watch me just fucking up the whole time, which there you go. Perfect. Twitch.tv/KyokinCarts. But, like I said, with these online things that we're talking about, how online tournaments, the two main ones that I stream personally, one, because they're free, and two, because the Upper Hand sponsors the channel for the Upper Hand Super Series and 3-Minute Circuit, which is Thursdays, Upper Hand Super Series on Tuesdays. But a big thing with that is that's a new market now is Twitch games. It was very, very rare to have someone, maybe Magic players, but I never saw a Dragon Ball Super card game locals being streamed. Because think about it, you got to set up a rig in some guy's locals, get permission from the store, and then have people in the background screaming and shit, and then it'd just be a miserable time. But now that you're home, you can control it, put some music in the back, interact with the chat.
Does that actually? It's terrible. You can hear like a whole bunch of conversations in the background, and like it's better than nothing.
It's also accurate though.
No.
Like it's not like you got a
True.
confined space to be able to think. Like you got to deal with noise when you go to locals, anyways.
No,
True.
it's completely true. But now this new avenue is opened up where it's just like I don't need to play on Untapped to be streaming whatever because I just don't like Untapped. Not anything against it. It's just I like playing with physical cards. I like shuffling. I don't like having to click and shuffle, especially cards that have the bottom deck too. It's just like, what's the button? Why? It just
ain't nobody trying to watch somebody click a screen for 40 minutes. Okay,
right? Like, but that's the nice thing because it's 3 rounds, best of 1, so it's enough that you can get in and be like, okay, I can see what this deck does against 3 different types of decks, and I can see how this person's playing. But like I said, it's a new avenue where it's people. You go in, you're watching someone, and you're like, oh shit, this is a tournament that's online, so they're shipped to where? Oh, it's North America, they do shipping. How do I join this tournament? And a lot of people I found out, especially in my Twitch chat, have been joining the game, maybe not from watching me, but they ask what's the tournament is, what cards are good. People will always ask, like, am I playing this right? Do you think this card's good? And then they join these online tournaments because it's much easier than going to a locals that they might not have if they're in like a small city. Like I'm in like a relatively small, like 100,000 people. So no Toronto, no big major city, but the closest local is like a half-hour drive, and we kind of had to start that up because everyone's just like, the fuck's this Dragon Ball Super card game? Is this the old Dragon Ball Z card game? We got pinched on this last time. We still have product from 1956. But I don't know. It's I think it's a good thing, and I hope it stays because obviously that's what my Twitch thing is, right? So if online locals disappear, I'm fucked. But
you're like, what else can I be bad at?
Yeah, exactly. But I'm glad that stores are doing both now. Like, I know 3 Mana is doing both. They have their series in store, and then they have their online circuit as well too. But I think the mix of both is good because local, sure, it's nice. It's an environment. You get used, like, you get to know the people better, and I guess less cheating. That's a big thing that everyone talks about webcam. I haven't experienced it, but I know it's happened to people. But that's what everyone just, fuck, a webcam doesn't count because of this, because of that. And it's just like,
You have ample more opportunity to record your gameplay and show the evidence of what happened versus if that happened in person, all they're going to be like, okay, well, it's your word versus theirs.
Mhm.
Like, I never really got to play the whole like live regional scene. That was, I think the last one that happened before the pandemic was literally like when I played like my first locals basically. So obviously I didn't have that experience. Armando, you've probably had the most experience with live regionals. Like, what was that like? If someone
So-
cheated you hard.
It's weird because you get a different kind of cheating at regionals, which like I know me and others call them soft cheats, right? So something like not correcting game state when you've realized it's wrong. So your opponent plays a card that says you have to draw, right? Forgets to draw off the skill, right? Really, you're both obligated to tell your opponent like draw from that or whatever, right? So and that could be any number of things. But soft cheating, there's a number of ways to do it. A game state, not explaining what your cards do properly.
just read the
Not,
card. I hate when people, like, if it's a new card, just read it out or tell me what the card name is. Because I know some people, they'll
And
try
let
to
me look it
short
up.
form. Some people try to short form it, and then it'll make it sound better or worse than it actually is. And just
Or like I'm guilty of getting nervous and like fumbling when I'm reading it. You know what I mean? Like skipping words and stuff. Exactly.
I'm
But
basically
it-
dyslexic when I read these cards. Everything, even when I do the intros here, everyone knows I stumble over everything. That's another benefit of going to the stream. Everyone go there right now. But yeah, continue on with the
yeah,
soft
sorry.
cheating
So
and
in
everything.
real life, you can grab your opponent's card and read it, which is obviously a little bit better. But there's still stuff that happens all the time, like not discarding properly. Like there was one regional where someone dumped an extra card. It was a 1 plus 10k energy cost. They dumped that card from their hand into the drop, like comboed with it as if it was a 5k. So that way they would have 8 cards to overwhelm for Fu Shredded. That was, or for Fu Dark Banisher. That was like a huge controversy at the time. But that happened on stream and people saw it. It's harder for me to give examples. Like the only going into time or slow playing is a big issue too in IRL regionals. Stuff forcing a draw, like if you're in a top table, you can force draws, and that ensures you get a higher placing or a less negative placing. So it's just a different kind. Like I don't know, it's just cheating, but of a different nature. It's not as oblique as like your cam goes out. You know what I mean? It's like
Cam cut, extra 2,
Yep.
super combos.
yeah.
No,
Yeah, it's like, and literally, anytime it happens to me, my opponent's like, "I'm gonna draw for turn," and then they disappear, and then I'm like, "Hey, your cam cut out, you're disconnected," and then they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, my hand was on the table. I dropped it as soon as you said I disconnected," and I'm like, "Did you though?"
Can you
Anyway,
prove that though?
Exactly, it happens. It sucks. You just at the end of the day, you're playing a card game realistically to have fun. Like Dragon Ball's not the card game that you do as a career, right? You do it to have fun. Sure, the pricing's good, but you're not making a living off of it. I don't know. If you cheat at a locals, like you're a scumbag. So if you're signing up for an online locals, like a best of 3, and you're cheating to get there, like you need to rethink your priorities.
I need my circuit points.
I know. Honestly, being like, oh man, I really need this Winter Raditz. Like, I can't wait to get this Winter Raditz, this $15 card.
I need this Winter Raditz so I can figure out how the hell was even printed.
Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? And when
He's
it's
pulling
Gogeta, when it's yeah, exactly. Of course he is, because he's hype about that card.
It's the only winner I got, baby.
Yeah.
Everything else is in the mail.
had to cheat to get it.
Yep.
So yeah. Likewise, if shit like that happens during a local, I try and always assume the best from my opponent. But it happens. It's part of life, man. You got to hope karma comes around one day, and that's it. So, webcam, the limitations of the format suck, but it's better than nothing. I certainly prefer playing it to untap.
Yeah, untap is horrible.
I think most
this
people
is
do.
10,000 times better than untap, in my opinion.
Yeah, and a webcam setup's fairly cheap. So, in terms of staying connected in the game, like we all said, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook groups, Discords. There's a bunch of different Discords you can join to talk about the game. You can kind of find the best match for your personality. Tons of YouTube content creators. If you like reading blogs, I operate a blog, but nobody likes reading my blog. But it's good.
You get like 2 people at least.
Yeah, exactly. I get like 2 people regularly reading.
Well, I was gonna say it's Dragon Ball players. We can't read.
Yeah. Our weekly show, if you like it, obviously subscribe, give us a shout in the comments.
Especially
thank
Pac-Man.
You, Pac-Man, for requesting we record this week. Yeah, we should have him on as a guest for this. I've been trying to get him on as a guest, man. I love that guy. He has his own YouTube channel, L2H2. He might have rebranded it now.
I think it's now Pac-Man. Yeah, I think it's Pac-Man Special because that's what his Twitch and everything
we'll have
is.
him on one day with a link. He's a hilarious guy. He's really, really nice and really friendly, and he's good at Dragon Ball, which is those are 3 things that no one in this group is. So...
So, are we each one thing of this? I know I'd be the one not good at Dragon Ball. Friend.
No, then you have to be hilarious or a good guy. So
I'm half of each.
Yeah, if you add us together, maybe we're well-rounded enough to be equal to and then one Pac-Man.
Yeah.
That's probably accurate.
So anyway,
here's the problem though. I'm not nice, so what does that leave me with?
Exactly. You neg our value, so you're cut. You're off the team.
Yeah, we're 2/3 of a Pac-Man. So.
Yeah. So that's stay engaged. A big way to stay engaged right now is the online regionals. They're not the best, but I've noticed at least this set of online regionals, there's been fewer and fewer signups, and a lot of it could be due to people's work schedules, live stuff. Real life stuff opening back up. I can go to the movies now on weekends, which makes me less inclined to play Dragon Ball. But
not even that. A lot of people how many invites have you earned now, Armando?
I lost count. No,
exactly.
I think I've got 3. But
so at a certain point, once you got your 6 rings and all that jazz, you're it's hard to motivate yourself to keep putting in the extra time to get more and more invitations. So for anyone who doesn't have their invite yet, this is an excellent time to just put in the work now so that you can at least secure your invite, because you have far better odds to secure that invite through a regionals now than it would be at the start of the year.
And then you can hang out with us at Nats.
That's if my BCC ID updates to my invite, because I still don't think it did.
Dude, the BP, I'm convinced that thing's a scam.
Oh, 100%. It literally called me and said I had 5 fraudulent charges on my visa. This is just a side tangent. I had 9 telemarketers call me today during class, and every time I answer the phone, Cheryl, is that you? Cheryl, you calling me? And they hang up every time. It was great, but I don't know why they kept calling. But
you have a suspiciously good old man voice.
Oh, that was my CSGO thing. When I used to play CSGO a lot, if you ever add me on Steam or anything like that, my name is Bert Danger in capitals Handelman, and I just found a picture of a car salesman. I said I'm from Wyoming, and then I just would go on the mic and say I'd sell used Ford Focuses, and that I alluded to that I murdered my wife, and then that's what people would catch on, like, what the fuck, guys? I'm sorry, I had a pack of Marlboros in the back, and then I went in the store, and she was just on the floor. I didn't know what to do. The cops, the shovel, guys, let's just play this game, and just would fuck with people like that. So Cheryl's my new one now. That's my new ex-wife.
Dragon Ball, boys.
Yeah. But you know what the best part about this is before this started, you said, let's make this a quick 15-minute episode. I'm looking at the time right now, and besides my 25-minute speech that I'll have to cut out, we're sitting at almost 50 minutes.
Almost what? 50? 50.
50.
Okay, Jesus. All right. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just looking. We've done 2 at 20 minutes, and otherwise they're like average 40 minutes or longer, which is pretty. For any, we should look at the stats and see if people actually watch all the way through, because it's probably
Oh,
like
here.
just
Pac-Man
one
would.
person.
Spoiler alert,
It's
they
Pac-Man.
don't. Because the best stuff is always at the end, and no one knows what we're talking about, so it doesn't matter.
That's
But-
the best part. We could literally.
So you're saying we can say
confess to
whatever we
any-
want at this point?
Yeah, go for it. Let's see.
Sweet.
Let's see if anybody catches on. Let's just put a secret message here at the end.
The Carl Stay Super is going to be the best definitive ending
Yes, there's
of
nothing
one of
that
our
can beat that.
episodes.
2 of the
Yeah.
episodes now. The first one obviously
Nope.
was better. It took us right off guard.
we were going to talk about getting into the mindset regional for best of one. Nick touched on that a little bit. Well, I'll just fire off one quick, really quick budget deck to round it out. I've been playing Cell Surge. I think it's less than $200 without the secret. I don't really think you need a secret. Cell Surge is my pick for a tier 1 budget deck. Over to Lucas.
I'm biased King Cold just because that deck I foiled out and it was still stupid cheap. The only expensive card I had in that deck was Cell Xeno just because I didn't feel like buying the Boo, which I think either Boo works. I'd still go with the counter one specifically for the Unison, but yeah, that is a dog shit cheap deck. Like for being, I'd say tier 2, I wouldn't push it to tier 1 just because it's green and not Cell Surge. So yeah, that'd be my pick for a cheap deck that you can run and get probably a decent amount of wins with.
Yeah, and over to Nick.
I mean, honestly, for something that's going to be at least moderately competitive, definitely not tier 1, still cheap, I would say just go with Videl. It draws a ton of cards. It basically does a lot of the similar things that Launch does, except you don't have to think as much. Like, all you have to do is combo, and just things happen. You don't have to flip, you don't have to unflip, you don't have to send things from your drop to the warp. Like, you're literally just combo, boom. Like, it's
And
that simple.
You draw and swing, so you don't have to give your opponent a card, which is nice on a 5K.
It doesn't come up that frequently, but it does come up sometimes, and it's really funny.
You know what the most fucked up part about those 3 decks were?
All green.
We picked the worst color for it. We picked the color that everyone says is the worst for all of them. Just think about that.
Nick, can you please do the yeah.
Don't worry, it's the end of
Excellent.
the episode. No one's even gonna know.
So yeah, it's funny that we all pick green because green used to be the most expensive color to play, but with Ribrian's reprinted, Draw Apes reprinted, Cells Kamehameha reprinted, all these cards that were expensive are now cheap. So if you wanted to play green, now's the time. Honorable mention Go Tanks. If you want to clap Cell Surge, that's actually a really, really good deck that is almost an auto win against hand control.
Yep.
And yeah, that whole deck's like even you can go nuts and get like the Zarbons for it and the Ribrians for it, and the whole deck's gonna cost you like $100.
I was gonna say those Zarbons been reprinted how many times now?
Yeah.
Ribrian twice,
Exactly.
like 2 copies already.
I think they're coming in the collector's edition too. That there's another one.
Actually,
Is
rebrand's
there?
been going up lately. Let me look at this.
In my mind, man, I got them for like $10 each, so that's what they still are. There. It should be a $50 card realistically. Ribrian snapped.
Okay, so the reprint went up to 9, and the normal one is 12.
Yeah.
That's super reasonable.
Yeah.
Like, people are paying way more for SRs that do way less than this, so card's good, buy it.
For a basically uninteractable ditch 2 cards from your opponent's hand. Like
Yeah.
that card's
So
cracked.
there you go. We gave you guys some good budget decks, some fun.
Go play green.
Oh my green if you want to be on a budget, which is fun. Like I said, it's mind blowing to me because it was the worst but most expensive color for like since I started playing the game. Green was the most expensive color, but also the worst. But yeah, like even Soul Striker is not that bad because draw apes are cheap now.
Yeah.
Honestly, a lot of the best decks in the game are okay. I'm lying to you.
You're lying.
Zamasu's crazy overpriced.
Yeah.
So.
What's that at right
Oh yeah,
now?
that thing's stupid.
How many
overpriced.
millions of dollars? How many thwartings does
like
it cost?
50 to 70.
Okay, so it's still half a thwarting winner.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. You can play Hatchiak now if you want to play a black deck. Hatchiak's really good, and you don't need Gogeta thwarting.
Yeah, I'd say the hatches you can build it cheap or you can build it expensive. but the power level increase decrease really isn't like
Minimal.
you don't need Gogeta thwarting in that deck.
I was gonna.
You put it in, and then the Demigraws with the reprints are like what, like $7 now for the non-foil reprint.
Non-foil.
That's nuts. Just pick that up.
Yeah, that used to be $100 card. Now it's $7.
Well, it's what? This is the third copy of this card, and there's a foil and a non-foil version. They had the draft box for
the original non-foil and foil.
If you
want to look at it that way.
Well, no, because they had the original, they had the event pack one, and then they had.
No, there was no event.
You talking about Demigra?
Oh no, I'm talking about the Draw Ape.
Oh
yeah. No,
the Draw Apes had like 4 printed.
That's what I'm saying.
The original, the collectors, the event pack. Now this non-foil and foil. So that's like
Demigra I know is just the one because that was a card when I pulled it. I'm just like, oh, thank God. I'm just like, I got at least one foil. I think I got one foil or 2 foils and 1 non-foil. So I'm like, well, look at that. I can finally put him in a black deck. Supreme Kai, here we don't come. Fuck that deck.
SS4 Vegeta, that's a cheap blue deck. Like your Ultra Instinct Goku Kamehameha, and it's not even that essential, but that's like the only expensive card in the SS4 Vegeta. I mean, I'm on record as saying that deck sucks, but
didn't you switch your thing to SS4 is fine now?
Yeah, I'm gonna change it back. Yeah, so
he played Cell Surge against it, and he's like, nope, back to suck.
I was like, nah, deck sucks, man. Cell Surge just snapped. But basically it locks you out of some of the higher tier black decks for price and the blue-yellow decks. Those are the only expensive decks really right now. So we're in a meta where it's fairly wide open and there's a ton of viable options, especially in best of one. That's something to consider. And like we said, if you don't have your invite, a lot of these new regionals aren't filling up. There's still tons of seats. You can go on the Bandai website and reserve your spot in an online regional. I know I just reserved my spot in PPG on the 25th. I will probably be playing something fun. So if you want to get an invite, I think that's a good opportunity.
Yeah, I think for this set or this series of regionals, I think the first and second, so we just finished 2. I think they both had 30% capacity left. Now it's possible people bought tickets and then didn't show up because that always happens. But I think it was around 30% of seats weren't filled, which is nuts.
For $30 you get a mag, you get promos, you get event packs. Like, come on, it's worth it. Especially if you're a Dragon Ball player. Exactly. Especially if you're like, for us, for Canadian Dragon Ball players, we don't have the IRL big store, the regionals, because Bandai hates us. Honestly, the online ones kind of suck, but it's better than nothing.
Yep.
All right. Any closing comments from any wonderful gentlemen?
I'm just waiting for my wife to come back down again.
Yeah. Other than that, you miss Carl. That's I did text him.
I was gonna say, like, I see a child toy in the back. Do you want to fill that in for Carl? Do you want to slide
Nick,
down the slide?
You want to take the slide? No.
If you lead the way, Armando, then.
I don't have any children's toys. I have a robe that's like showing a little bit of chest hair though, so that's something.
You know what's funny?
Toy.
I was gonna say, you know what's funny about.
Oh, it's like I'm the toy.
God, if I keep the thumbnail being the eyebrows.
Well, that'll be a new picture
Eric for sure.
Yeah, that'll be a new picture for Eric.
You would get a knock on your door, 100%.
That chest hair, though. Every time, whatever the hell that meme format he has that I see, literally anytime I see him comment.
Dude, I had to look. I was like, "What is 13 Reasons Why?" And then I was like, "Oh, this seems really sad." That's the story of how a 30-year-old man comes to grips with new television.
I don't know. It was kind of weird. I watched it, and I don't know. It's something.
Great meme, though.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's Team Berserk's Talk episode 11, guys. Thanks for watching.
Stay super.
I was ready for it. I knew it was coming.
No, you fucking didn't.
No, but it was just how it was done.
I can't do it like
first
Carl.
One Carl did, where he's just like, "Stay super."
It was just how long he let it out. It was just stay super.
And just how unenthusiastic it was. I'm like, that's fucking.
Y'all stay super. I like how they say it, man. Whatever. I'll give them credit. I like super players.
They're entertaining. I watch their shit. They're my guilty pleasure.
I like start or finish their shit, but I never like watch it in full. Like it's too much.
No, you can't. You see one or two explosions, you're like, okay, let's continue for a bit, and then you're like, oh, there's the Gogeta
The anime
prismatic
scene.
burst.
Oh, here's one card. Here's an anime scene clipped in. This is how I feel like when I play this card. And then 2 explosions in the back. Oh, that's some content.
Yeah, we got to start doing that for our battle videos. That's
God.
okay.
This is not even being recorded.
Oh,
It is.
Fucking lies.
That is lies. I
Fine,
have
take your
editing
shirt
power.
off. Take your shirt off. Prove it. Take your shirt
No.
off.
Oh, it's being
Take your
recorded
pants
right
off.
now. I already have my pants off. Nobody knows. That's the magic.
That's the
Of
best part
webcam.
of regional. You do
Yeah.
not need to wear pants.
Depends. It
I would
depends
keep
how
my pants.
it depends how overhead. Because mine is like you can just see like. Yeah, you'd be able to see.
When your fight night thighs were showing.
Oh yeah, there we go. That'll
what I
be
should do?
posted too.
I should order some pants that look like you're not wearing anything, so they're just like light pink and just lots of brown hair. That'd be fucking hilarious.
I think it'd just be
There's
easier just
something
to
out there like
actually
that.
just be naked.
Now I'm just imagining. Now I'm aroused. Next.